soul and gone away. My good Lord, the thing here, bless my soul and gone. My good Lord's done been here, bless my soul and gone away. My good Lord's done been here, and he bless my soul, bless my soul, bless my soul.
Is a black man. And black men, they don't cry. I know you lost your mama. We lost your mama. The Lord brought her home. But we can't control that. But what we can control is how we survive. And this world is against us. And I don't want you to grow up to be no sissy. Being a sissy as a black man in America will kill you. And you got to be strong, even when it's tough, even when times are tough. You got to be a fighter. And fighters don't show their emotion. You hear me?
How do you know this?
Because I'm your goddamn father.
And let's talk a little bit about the landlord situation with the residents that you were at. Because if we can deal with that, maybe we could alleviate the situation with what's going on in terms of the shelter.
How
you doing?
I'm good. Nice to see you guys again.
Good to see you. Say hi to Miss Jane. How do you do? Israel was just explaining to me a little bit about the situation with the shelter that they were in. The avenue we need to go down and find out what happened there with the payment plan.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, any of the eviction notices that they might have gotten or might not have gotten, because that happens all the time.
You know, you wanted. Did you guys already talk about what happened with his landlord? Is there any way we
We definitely had trouble with that, like, you know, saying that it was a final notice and it was only the first notice, you know, having stamps on the paperwork.
Right.
It's like, you know, conniving stuff, and I don't have a way of proving it, you know, I can't afford a lawyer, so.
And you called several times.
You're at the right place.
Yeah.
You got investigators that are going to be able to deal with that.
Thank you, I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, ma blonde créole, sur ton balcon, je crois voir une ville.
Before becoming the birthplace of jazz, New Orleans in the late 1700s was a city of opera.
Would regular people just be out in the streets singing too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They knew all of the operatic arias.
And free people of color found success as classical musicians.
Jazz was born out of opera. Coloratura to scat is the biggest overlap. So there's a lot of movement in and then you take that and you hear Louis Armstrong with
But while Louis Armstrong is well known, Givonna Joseph says the history of black people in opera has been largely erased.
Okay.
Why don't we know about these black composers and black singers?
Jim Crow laws. We got thrown out of everything. The beginnings of jazz, we have Jelly Roll Morton singing a recital at the French Opera House and deciding to learn to play the piano. Louis Armstrong came along, he wasn't allowed to go anywhere near any of those places.
A lot of the musicians that had found work here, they started losing those jobs. And so they started moving to other countries.
Right.
And a lot of these places, the musicians, the composers themselves, they kind of disappeared into whiteness.
Now, Givonna and her daughter Aria Mason are working to restore that heritage through opera creole. Finding the lost works of local composers of color and giving them a long overdue American debut.
It seems like you all are scouring the earth, looking for these pieces that many people alive today don't even know existed.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Oh, we just keep digging and keep looking. One of the first things that we did as a production in 2012 was an opera that had been lost sitting in a drawer in Croydon, England for 100 years.
Their next big performance? Edmond Deday's Morgiane, believed to be the first full opera composed by a Black American, set to be performed later this year.
We can see actually the artistic process taking place. These blue markings are actually by Edmond Deday.
The conductor helping bring the 550-page handwritten opera to life is Patrick Dupree Quigley.
You get your hands on this. What is the process?
Yeah, so first thing that we do is we go line by line. So this first line is the flute line. We take each note that the flute plays and we enter it into the computer. Then we go to the oboe. And then we go to the clarinet, the horn, the bassoon, and every other piece.
How painstaking is this?
Very.
7 months spent transcribing 48 orchestral parts and 10 vocal lines so that Deday's opera can finally be heard.
This piece of music is the most important piece of American music that no one has ever heard. We are righting a wrong that goes back more than a century by simply performing it.
And a powerful reminder for performers, like Taylor White.
What does it feel like as a Black opera singer to be performing these works?
It feels reaffirming. It's getting better, but the industry is not always accepting of Black and brown people being on the stage. And so knowing that my people were so instrumental in contributing to this industry reiterates for me that I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing.
Morgiane will premiere in New Orleans, New York, and D.C. Among those expected in the audience, descendants of Deday.
What does this mean for his legacy?
It won't die. It means that maybe for the next 100 years, people will remember who he is. I think he would be able to stand upright with his chest out, smile, and say, I did this for y'all. No matter what your circumstances are, no matter what you're born into, life is full of possibilities.
And for Givonna and Aria, a chance to expand the canon of great opera works.
Understanding that a Black man born in New Orleans was the first Black American composer to create a full opera like this is narrative changing.
It's powerful.
It is, and I want someone to see themselves reflected on the stage in the best way. I want them to see the struggle that we have been through as a people and view it as an inspiration to move forward.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News, New Orleans.